Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show men and women how they can live healthy, happy, sustainable lives by changing their habits and using cutting edge products that help them to age well. And talking of habits, I'm absolutely delighted because today I'm joined by Coach Melanie Coeshott, and she's going to be sharing habits for life. So I'm just going to hand straight over to you, Melanie.
Thanks, Julie. Now, habits. When did I discover the concept of habits? Probably consciously about 5 years ago, but I think unconsciously I've probably been following habits of various different kinds for quite a few years. And some of these probably developed maybe when I was a young adult, and some of them, and probably things that I was interested in or whatever. But some of those habits have been a bit more, I guess, conscious, a bit more deliberate at various other stages of my life. Now, I don't write my habits down or anything because they're so ingrained in what I do. And that's the beauty of habits. We don't have to think about these things. These are not checklist things. They might be when we're starting off creating those habits. But I think the beauty of them is we do them naturally. And if we don't, we kind of feel a bit irksome, or we feel kind of, we have a nudge from our body to remind us to do these. Now, most of my habits I do daily, but as I say, I'm not following a checklist. So some of them I may miss a day or even a week if I'm on holiday or something, but then I get back into the habits when I'm, I guess, following my normal life. And a lot of these habits are things that set me up well for the day or well for the week, but they're also setting me up more generally for my life. And that's why I call them my habits for life. So I've put them in a few different categories just so that it's easy for me to remember them, but also easy for me to talk to you about them, and hopefully you to take them away as well. So if I think about some of my health habits, my work habits, and then my growth habits as well. So in terms of health habits, I like getting enough sleep. I'm quite an early bird, not a very early bird, but I like to get up around 6 or 6:30 most days of the week. So having a regular wake up time is really important for me. And to enable that, I need to have a regular go to bed time as well. So that's slightly later than I'd like, partly because my husband's more of a night owl, but I like to go to bed around 11 o'clock at the latest to make sure that I'm getting enough sleep. Things that I like to do when I get up in the morning, I like to drink some water, but particularly some lemon water, so either hot or cold depending on the time of year, just to give me a cleanse and some hydration from the start of the day. And the other thing from a health perspective is I like to move. So every single day I like to get some movement. So that might be going out for a walk, that might be yoga, that might be personal training, it might be kickboxing, cycling, swimming, whatever. I like moving. And so that movement, that fitness is definitely a habit of mine. So those are the health ones. Healthy eating and things like that as well. But I guess those are less habits and more ways of life. In terms of my work, there are, I guess, common patterns in the way that I've worked for quite a while. And actually I changed what I did. I used to be an accountant, I used to be an employee working in a big company, and now I work for myself. Yet there are certain habits that I have maintained during that time. Things like planning my diary, so planning ahead, making sure I know what's coming up in a given day, I know what's coming up in a given week or month or things. I guess taking that time to review and plan is a habit that I do. There are certain other things that I do. I always block out time for my diary. I always block out a start time and an end time in my diary. These don't always get followed 100% depending on what's going on, but at least if they're indicated in my diary, I've got that daily reminder of when I should be starting, taking a break and finishing. And what other work habits? There are certain things that I do in my work now, like using social media, making sure that I'm regularly tuning into what's going on in LinkedIn. So I have certain daily habits of things that I do within LinkedIn in terms of communicating to people, following up with people, etc. And having those kind of routines and habits really keeps me grounded, whatever else is going on in my work in any particular moment. And then in terms of growth, so habits about my personal growth, and I guess the growth of people around me, but that's less in my control. So I always make sure that I am reading, studying something. So this doesn't always have to be some formal study. Sometimes it's reading for pleasure, but with an eye to learning new stuff or different things or whatever. But sometimes it is something more formal. And that could be getting a certification in something, or it could be some CPD or something, I guess, bigger, which then changes the direction or adds to a qualification. So I've constantly got probably 4 or 5 books on the go, maybe 1 or 2 audio books, various other books that are helping me in different areas of my life. And why do I have so many books? I'm much more of a kind of nudge person. So I read a chapter of something, and then the next week I'll read the next chapter of it. So it's not necessarily a formalized thing. I don't record any of these things, but I do take the time regularly to sit down and read with a cup of tea. That's another habit, to make sure that I'm growing, that I'm learning, I'm growing. And some of that is for my own personal growth, and some of that is so I can serve my clients better or help my family in different ways as well. And the other thing in terms of growth, I guess, ties back to the health part. So this could be in terms of getting out and having a walk to give myself some space. So it's kind of tapping into what I need, and that might be signs from my body, it might be signs from the universe, but I guess it's learning and growing, listening for those signs and responding accordingly. And that's quite an intangible one. That's not something I can really put my finger on, but I think it is another habit that I have become accustomed to doing, certainly since I've been working by myself.
Brilliant. What great habits, Melanie. A lot of those habits I implement as well, a lot of similar habits. And I think the important thing to remember is that we need that work-life balance, and that it sounds like the habits that you do on a daily basis for life are habits that give you that time, that quality time with people, for yourself, to grow, as you say. So absolutely brilliant. And if anyone wants to find out more about Melanie, then of course I'm going to put all her links below this video, as my links will be there as well. But do reach out and send her a message, say hello. But thank you ever so much, Melanie, for sharing your brilliant habits with us. And thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.